The Reformation in the Catholic Church was one of the most significant events in Europe's religious and social history. Its causes reached deeply into the structure and practices of the Church during the medieval period. One of the key reasons for the Reformation was criticism of the customs and conduct of the Church clergy, which often contradicted the principles preached by the Church. Practices such as selling indulgences or pardoning people for sins in exchange for monetary donations aroused widespread outrage. People began to perceive these actions as the commercialization of faith and a departure from spiritual values. Another significant issue was corruption within the Church, especially nepotism, which promoted the Pope's relatives to high ecclesiastical positions regardless of their qualifications. The 95 Theses of Martin Luther, announced in the year 1517, became a symbol of opposition to these practices. Luther was a German monk. He mainly questioned the abuse of indulgences, arguing that faith alone, not the purchase of indulgences, is the basis of salvation. His radical views led to a split between the Catholic Church and the formation of a new religious movement. Followers of Martin Luther began to be called Lutherans. Lutheranism acknowledges the Bible as the sole authority in faith and religious practice. Lutherans believe that God inspires the Holy Scripture and constitutes the ultimate source of religious truth. Its representatives recognize only baptism and communion as sacraments and also do not require celibacy from their clergy. They also do not recognize the Pope as the head of their church. The social movement demanding changes in the Catholic Church became called the Reformation. The Reformation had enormous social, cultural, and political consequences. New religious movements emerged, such as Calvinism and Anglicanism. Calvinism arose in the 16th century through the teachings of the reformer John Calvin in Geneva. Its main beliefs proclaimed that before the creation of the world, God decided who would be saved and who would be damned. This means that salvation depends not on our actions or merits, but solely on the will of God. Calvinism also emphasizes morality and discipline and preaches that success in material life is a sign of God's grace. This contributed to the development of capitalism in countries where Calvinism had a significant influence, such as the Netherlands or Scotland. Anglicanism emerged in the 16th century in England during the reign of King Henry VIII. The history of Anglicanism begins with Henry III's conflict with the Pope. Henry wanted to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon to marry Anne Boleyn because they could not have offspring. However, the Pope refused to grant a divorce, leading Henry VIII to break with papal authority and declare himself the head of the Church of England. Anglicanism strongly emphasizes tradition, both biblical and ecclesiastical, but also allows room for individual understanding of faith and doctrines. Like Calvinism, Anglicanism also emphasizes the importance of Christian morality and ethics in daily life. As a result of the Reformation, numerous religious conflicts arose in the Holy Roman Empire, which was divided into many small states and territories. These conflicts lasted until the Peace of Augsburg in 1555. This peace established the principle of cuius regio, eius religio, whose realm, his religion, meaning that the rulers of individual territories had the right to decide on the religion of their subjects. As a result of these actions, a movement called Protestantism emerged. Protestantism became a general term for various strands of Christianity that separated from the Catholic Church. In Protestantism, congregations are the meeting places of Protestant religious communities where worship services and other religious ceremonies occur. Pastors lead these congregations, teach the faithful, preach sermons, and perform different functions. The Reformation tremendously impacted the Catholic Church, introducing changes in its structure, doctrines, and religious practices. One of the most important consequences was the emphasis on the need for moral and spiritual reform among the clergy and the faithful, eliminating some abuses such as the sale of indulgences or nepotism. The Reformation also elevated the significance of the Bible as a source of faith. Furthermore, the Reformation initiated divisions in Christianity, leading to the emergence of new Protestant denominations, which had long-term consequences in developing Europe's religious and political landscape.
Thank you for being a part of our educational adventure. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss new videos.